Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome to a bonus video. I did say over the festive period there may be a couple little bonus videos here and there, mainly because, for a lot of people we may be busy around Christmas time, but other people may not be, and actually having more content is actually nice. So this video is, I don't know how long it will be. It might not be very long, but I can talk a lot, so it might be over 10 minutes, who knows. But it's mainly about talking about one topic. Why me, Huzagams, is actually hopeful for League of Legends again. I think it's been a rough few years for a lot of people, and the rough data that we have available as like non-insider Rioter people, there's been a drop-off of players about 20 odd % in the last 1 to 2 years playing League of Legends, which is a lot, by the way. That's a lot of big drop-off for League of Legends. And there's been certain things happening in the background that not all of you would be aware of this. And I've mentioned some of these things in some commentaries, but I've never, I'm distracted while playing, so I've not finished a point, or, this is a video that I'm just talking to the camera, talking about what's happened and why I'm actually a bit hopeful that the game will turn around in 2025. So fundamentally, first we have to go to what happened to League in the last couple of years. And basically that stuff is going to be changing in terms of certain things are going to be changing that I'm hopeful for. So what happened? Basically, the leadership of Riot massively changed. The people that founded the company, kind of the starting two, especially Rise and Tryndamere, they really stepped down in terms of any type of leadership. They weren't in meetings. They just took a back step. And that obviously promoted up a different generation of leadership. But then more than that happened is Riot themselves have had a massive shift around leadership in different games. So obviously back in 2019, they announced we want to become Riot Games. We call ourselves that, but we only have League of Legends. So more games were being developed under the umbrella of Riot. And obviously when it comes to leadership, it's very common that, in these kind of companies, Blizzard is the same, that you have your trusted people. And when you go, right, we're going to start expanding, instead of you being a trusted group of head devs on the same project, you start dividing them off to the different umbrellas that you're trying to make. That, instead of the 8 of you that have always worked on League of Legends as a really amazing, cohesive team that built League of Legends into what it is, okay, well, Rise and Tryndamere are stepping down. Well, there's 2 of them gone. Those 2 or 3 devs, like head devs, are moving on to Valorant. Those are 2 are moving on to the MMO. And basically, practically none of the original kind of founding devs that built the game to what we know and what it is and what it became, none of them basically worked on League of Legends anymore. They all moved off it. Whether they left even Riot, obviously, the guy, again, sorry to be descriptive, I don't know his name, but there was the bald guy with a deep voice that was the head, of League in some instances was very good. People really liked him. He left Riot and made his own studio, and that's Supervive. That's that game. That's his studio. So that also happened. So fundamentally, a lot of that happened, and what that meant is Riot were in a bit of panic, going, "Who's leading us? Like, what the hell?" And they promoted obviously some people within, not everybody. They got some upper management kind of recruited in, but other people got promoted a lot quicker than they realistically should have been. Freak is a great example, not to be a personal attack on him, but he was in the balance team from being a caster, and after 1 year he basically became head of balance after a year, when he was a caster before that. Like, these type of things happened a lot in roles that we haven't, you don't hear about all the time. Management, and I can just say, like, going into dev meetings and stuff, it was quite common that they would introduce a title and say, wait, wasn't that somebody else like 3 months ago? It did seem there was a massive shift in going around. And one of the things I did here, and Riot have gotten better with it, is one of the things I did here is in 2020, obviously the pandemic happened and everybody started working from home. Some companies embraced that, some companies didn't. And I have heard, and I was told this myself, I was going to go for a job at Riot in 2022. And I was told, you'll probably you'll get an interview, and it was a community manager job in Riot. And I was fundamentally told then, you have to work in the office. Now, the office is in Reading, and that is basically like southwest London. I'm like North London, quite a bit of North London. So it's not really commutable, especially when it comes to getting there, 4 days a week, I think is what they said, like 3 or 4 days a week. Wasn't really a reality. I had just moved into this house. I wasn't going to relocate again straight away. So I didn't even go for the job in the end because it was pointless. I was told, no, you have to work in the office. Now, recently, I was having another conversation with the rioter and I was talking about job stuff. And it was about 6 months ago when I told you guys I had that interview that went well and I got down to the final two. Well, before that, I actually had a meeting with a influencer / community manager at Riot to give me advice. And I was talking to her about stuff and she said, oh yeah, they've really relaxed that rule. The reason why they've relaxed that rule is because they were losing people at Riot. To bring it back full circle, they were losing people. People were stepping down at working at Riot because Riot was being really tight with, no, you have to come to the office. But when you've been used to not, it's nice. Oh, I don't have to get on that public transport. I don't have to get up at 7 a.m. or 6:30 in the morning to make the commute in. It's a much nicer environment for the person if you can just work from home. Exactly doing the same job. You're just sitting at a desk most of the time. And that's something that I did hear a couple of years ago, that they were really strict. No, you have to come to the office, and they've relaxed it recently. So that's one thing. So they've changed that. Obviously, the leadership thing, and this is a big one. Tryndamere, obviously one of the founding duo of the game, he actually did a recent post, and this is where it's starting to get into. Before I talk about that, actually going into basically, sorry, this is where I don't script my videos. So that's. Forget what I just said about Tryndamere. Going back to what's happened to the game. So the new leadership that they promoted within, and some not. Obviously, when any leadership move happens, a lot of the time, a different mentality happens. You know, a different ethos happens of how they envision the game. And, you know, Riot August is very famous. He seems like a wonderful guy individually. But when he was put in charge, basically, of a lot of champions, you notice the champion design has become crazy. Like, it has. Like, champions have gotten so much more insane in the last few years because there hasn't been the person in charge that's probably gone, oh, it's a bit too much. That's happened, and that's happened in a lot of areas of the game. You know, the fast-paced nature of League of Legends, which has never truly been, what looked to basically happen is at the time, and, you know, you have to remember all the decisions that Riot make, it's not an immediate result that happens. It's not, oh, we're going to change it this. It's not like the next day or the next week there's impact. That's not how it works. You have to have several patches, or you have to wait for a new season to make big change. And in the last few years, basically what Riot was trying to do in the leadership that took over, basically, is they were watching their aging game not have the absolute limelight compared to the biggest example is Fortnite. So Fortnite was a really big thing that hit League, and what was Fortnite? This crazy high entertainment, high energy, fast gameplay, massive collabs of massive brands, and the leadership that took over, where old leadership would have gone, that's not League of Legends. The new leadership was like, we need to get that. We need to get the young market. Let's get the kids playing League. Let's change League into becoming more crazy, wacky, fast-paced one-shots, everything like that all the time. And that's basically what happened. So that's where the game did change fundamentally over the last few years to try and cater to a younger audience, to try and get some of that market. But fundamentally, you know, you could say games change and adapt, and they do, but your game still needs to keep to the core value of what it is. And that was moving away from what League was completely. You know, the split system, trying to force you to play the game, you know, more and more and more. Again, that's not what League is. League became the biggest game on the planet because you could leave it for a month. You could leave it for 2 weeks. You know, you could play GTA 5 comes out, Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. Okay, I'm not going to play League for a week. You can go do that. You didn't get punished for that unless, you know, you're challenger or master, but then obviously, fair enough, you're in one of the premier ranks. But if you're a typical gold player, platinum player, you could just take a month off. You could just take a patch off. If a patch wasn't very good for your champions, I'm just going to wait until my champion's better. That's fine. Go play other games. But introducing more splits was fundamentally not what League of Legends is. So now let's move into, finally, why am I a bit hopeful about League? So, few things. Tryndamere, and again, I have spoken to him a little bit in pieces here and there. He does come across a nice guy. Yes, he's nowadays a billionaire and all this, but he fundamentally did help build League into what it is. He knows what League of Legends is. He has stepped back into a leadership role at Riot. He's come back. So he's a billionaire, you know, he doesn't have to do this, he cares for League. That shows he cares. So, a billionaire doesn't have to work a day in their life if they don't want to. He cares about the game that he built. He's coming back to help. And what obviously he'll try and do, I'd imagine, in being one of the founding partners of the game, he'll try to kind of bring it back to what it is. And we've already seen that with the philosophy that is coming next year. So the split system, 3 rank splits, are going away because nobody liked that. It was forcing you to play a lot more than you may want to. It was forcing you that you would feel punished if you took any time off. Because the thing is, when you have a whole year, or back in the day, 10 months to climb and 2 months of preseason, having 1 month off wasn't that bad. You still have 9 months. That's okay. But if you took 1 month off in the split system, well, that's like near enough, well, a third practically of a whole split. That's really punishing. And then what? Your rank's just going to get reset another month later. That sucked. So it really stopped people doing that. And what it did, it even made people, play more. But what it did for a lot of people is stop playing. They were like, this is just too much. As an example, I have them in my community. I'm a father of 2, work a 9 to 5. I don't want to have that feeling of feeling forced to play this game every day. And that's what happened. So a lot of people just stopped playing, or they became ARAM players, or they became a lot more TFT players. TFT, by the way, is doing really well player number wise. And I'd imagine it's gained since League of Legends slight fall, because it's a lot more friendly to that a little bit more, and it's a weird kind of contradiction, but that casual ranked audience, it does exist. The casual ranked audience is the bulk of your ranked players. Not every ranked player is in the top 1%. Not every ranked player wants to play every single day. They still care for rank, but then you're forcing them to play like nearly every day if they want to get to the rank that they deserve in a way. The other thing, so that's a big thing. So right trending becoming back, the split system's going away. And then what you'll also notice is that they're doing things that have exciting premises for early game next year, but they are doing things that are going to definitely slow the game down. So First Blood next year doesn't give any bonus gold. Baron is spawning at 25 minutes, extending the game. League of Legends was not always a game that the average game length was like 23 minutes. We had metas that it was like 35, 40 minutes. And I'm not saying we need that again, all of it, but 30 minutes is fine. Games are really quick nowadays. And hell, they were quicker a while ago. It has slowed down since then. But I think Riot is even looking to slow it down a little bit more, because that's fundamentally what League always was. And, then they were never... I remember saying to Queen Pleb, who was an ex-Dota 2 player, she remembers a meta that, like, in pro play, that it was, like, hours long per game. And I was like, what? And it was like, yeah, this so-and-so champion could delay, blah, blah, blah. We don't want that. But, like, that's the fact that the game is definitely going to be slowed down a little bit in terms of that nature, and the Baron is spawning later, which is usually the tool that a game ends, is showing that they are thinking about returning it to what we all were used to. And again, it's never going to return to what it, by the way, was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But that's not what it should. It would be lame if it just returned to that point. What you need is modernization, but the hint of what it used to be. And that's what I think we're getting. Again, keep adapting for the future. We've got the Noxus theme for Split 1 next year. Then apparently it's Demacia, and then apparently it's Ionia, is the rumor or something. Again, no ranked reset, but the map will be changed. That feels good. That's a good update. It doesn't do anything negative. That's cool. But yeah, so that's basically my 2 cents. Why I'm hopeful for League of Legends again is everything that we've seen, the leadership coming back a little bit, the game, the updates themselves, it does look like things are slowing down. And I think Riot has finally, in the leadership world, conceded, okay, we're not Fortnite. We shouldn't be aiming our game to be crazy high pace, try to get the kids, blah, 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 blah. That's good. Awesome. Obviously, it goes without saying, the leadership that was in place, they did all these stupid gacha systems and $200. It feels, at least to me, that the reason why Riot has to do those is because they've lost audience. They've lost 20% of their player base. They don't want to, in their profit margins and everything that you have to, talk to your overlords and shareholders, they don't want to have a dip in their profit on a quarter, so they just do these crazy skins that, voila, look, we make the same amount of money even though we've lost 20% of our player base. Hopefully, and again, it's not always the way, because what happens, okay, they recover the game, that 20% they gain back Will they stop doing those crazy skins? The problem with corporate greed is that usually they will continue to do them because now, hey, we've gained those 20% players back, so we're making that money back anyway. But we can make more with these skins too. So I doubt that's going to go away, unfortunately. But fundamentally, that doesn't impact the game as a whole. It doesn't impact actually how the mechanics, whether wins or losses, it doesn't impact that. But yeah. But anyway, that's going to be it. Let me know what you guys think. If I missed anything, let me know. But yeah, little bonus video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And obviously this has been a league discussion, which I've not done one of these properly in probably a few years. So hopefully you enjoyed. Goodbye.
Regime, I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to